Are we ready to go, Lorna?
Yes, we are.
Right. Good morning, UNISA students. Welcome to session 3 of course 2, where we are going to be learning about interactivity in PowerPoint, how you can make really interactive professional presentations. We're going to look at an online presentation tool called Sway. We are also going to be looking at the Microsoft inclusivity tools for people with visual impairment or hearing impairment, and reader tools, immersive reader tools. And then we're also going to be looking at forms to create surveys and polls. So if you weren't on the first course, you didn't necessarily need to be on the first course to attend the second course, but it would be an idea if you have a look at a recording to see how Teams works, because it appears that your lecturers are going to be using Teams to teach, and it's a great collaboration and communication tool. So Alona is our producer today because we are working on a live event. So there are 2 types of events you can run in Teams. You can run a Teams meeting with up to 300 participants, and that is obviously a lot more personal. You can have a video call, participants can share their screens. It's a lot more personal. A live event, I am invited as a guest presenter to your UNISA live event, and I cannot see the chat and the Q&As, so I will stop from time to time, and Olona will give me the questions. Please feel free to ask as many questions as you like. As I said in course 1 and other course 2 sessions, we are covering a lot today. So if you feel that you are overwhelmed with the amount of knowledge, I get that totally. But my whole aim with these 2 courses was to make you aware of the big picture of all the amazing tools that are available to you as an Office 365 education account holder. I'm just going to share my screen. Can you see my OneNote?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so what we've decided to do, because we've covered a huge amount. So in the course 1 should have been about a 3-4 hour session, and course 2 should have been an 3 or 4 hour session on a face-to-face interactive session. But unfortunately, our circumstances with COVID, etc., and the time we've got available to us, this was the best way to do it. So there are 3 ways that you can strengthen and consolidate what you've done in this course. So attending the course just for 2 hours is really not going to do it in its totality. So I have provided a OneNote web book. You can see there's all the sections down the side here, and then you can have as many pages as you want. So it's like a digital LibreArch file. Absolutely fantastic. Olona will be sharing the link to this web book in the Q&A. I would highly recommend that you bookmark that the site, and you can also copy the URL of the link that Olona put up. This is the longer link, and you can go onto your desktop, right click new shortcut. So it's just right click new shortcut, paste this address in that box, and then click on next, give the shortcut a name, and you will always have a shortcut to the courses. So you will see that I've put quite a lot in. This is the coursework for course 1 and course 2, and it is available to everybody. It is also going to be put up on the UNISA Facebook page. So if you want to strengthen your skills, you can go into Microsoft Training on any of the apps. It's completely free. I have picked up that there are quite a few students who are studying at UNISA, but they also have like a day job, and they have an Office 365, or they've got a personal 365. So hats off to you if you are studying at UNISA and you have got a day job. My word, well done. So you can go onto these links and go and do training to strengthen what we've done. So in course 1, we covered Office 365. I showed you the dashboard. We covered Teams. We did a bit of a deep dive into class Teams and how you can communicate and collaborate inside class Teams. And there I've put documents and clips and websites for you, so because some people learn differently, there's different learning styles, and it's all available for you. We also did OneNote in course 1, some great tips here for students, and then in course 2, we are going to be covering the inclusivity tools, Microsoft Sway, and interactivity in PowerPoint and Forms. So all of your information is here. It's available for you to go and have a look at the clips, go and do the training. It's really important that you use this course material, and this course material it's not going to break your back in a backpack. It's very light. You can go onto your computer at any time to do it. I also showed people. I've put in the webbook. I've put a link to the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador website, because that is this is particularly for people who are studying IT. Go and see what this website has for you. Lots of training, events. You can apply to become a student ambassador. It's a wonderful website. If you are a teacher or a teacher in training, you can also go onto the Microsoft Educator Center and you can register, and that is free professional development about digital transformation in education. And if you are in training and you go onto the student teacher education program and you complete that learning path, you will be more than equipped when you start your teaching career. Any questions?
Yes. Once the meeting is completed, can the attendance register be downloaded at a later date? Does the attendance register have to be downloaded during the course of the meeting?
Okay, Lorna, you can answer that.
All right, we've actually had a lot of this question comes up a lot. So to make things easier for you, rather download that attendance register during the course of the meeting. What we sometimes do is we take it at the beginning, and then we also take it just when the meeting is about to end, right? Like in the middle, or like just about when the meeting is going to end, because it does give you problems when you will be downloading it at a later stage or after the meeting. It does cause problems. So rather, to be on the safer side, rather do it during the course of the meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, and then we also ask you at the end of the session, we ask you to fill in a feedback form about how you feel about the course, were there any new takeaways, etc. So it's just for us as well to see if we need to tweak the course. So the feedback that I've had for all of the sessions has been very positive, and I've been able to add and tweak the course a bit to suit the needs of the students. So that playbook is the one way you can strengthen your knowledge. You can also listen to the recording. Alona will share the link to the recording with you after the session. You can either listen online or you can download it as an MP4. And then you can attend another session. So we've got another 2 sessions of this course today, and then I'm finished with UNISA and I have to move on to another university. I've absolutely loved working with you guys. So we are now going to go and have a look at PowerPoint. Can you see my PowerPoint, Alona?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so what I'm going to be showing you here, I'm going to be showing you all sorts of tools so that you can create a really engaging, professional, interactive presentation. And I see a lot in the feedback, especially from the students, that they would love to use those interactive tools, whatever, when doing projects, etc., and also from people who are working, who are in the corporate world, who are working. So PowerPoint is a very, very powerful tool. The interactivity I'm going to show you with the recordings is only available on the offline. The rest of the stuff I'm showing you is also available on the online app. But if you have a look here, this is my offline. You can't see a white waffle up here. This is my offline PowerPoint. And you might be looking, as I go through the tools, you might say, oh, I didn't see the draw ribbon. I didn't see the recording ribbon, etc. That is possibly because your Office hasn't been updated. So as an Office 365 account holder, you get all the dynamite, powerful updates from Microsoft. So I'm going to show you how you can go and see if your apps have been updated. So I'm going to move over to File, and then I'm going to move down to Account, and then I check the user information. So you must make sure that if you are creating a UNISA document, you must make sure that this is your UNISA email address. It's very important. And if this email address is not here under the user information, you will need to switch your account to your UNISA account. That is really important that you do that. And then you're going to navigate over to the update options and go to update now. So with big organizations, it's very common that the IT admins actually organize the updates. So if it tells you that you can't upload the updates, then you're going to have to log a ticket with the IT admins to ask them please to push the latest Office 365 updates to you. Otherwise, if it allows you to, it'll make you close all your apps on your computer, and it will update all of your apps. I only have to do this on one of the apps. So I don't have to go into Word and Excel and OneNote and go to File and Account and Update now. If I update it in any app, it will do the updates on all of the apps. The other way you can go, once you have got your ribbon on your PowerPoint, and let's say you're still not seeing, example, the draw ribbon, you can go to File, and you can go down to Options, and you can go to Customize Ribbon. And if there's a ribbon in this left box that's not on your PowerPoint, you will click on it, and it will automatically go into the right box, and it will automatically appear on your ribbon. So to keep your Office updates up to date, File, Account, or File and Options. Are there any questions, Alana?
No questions.
You also need to make sure, you remember in course 1, I showed you your Office 365 dashboard and how you could install the offline apps onto 5 of your devices. And those are the Office 365 apps. And if you had any previous version of Office 2013, 2016, 2019, you needed to uninstall that first before you install the apps so that your online and your offline can sync. It's really important that you do that. When you are working in the offline apps, you can easily see on the online which profile you're in. You need to go and check where your name is, and you need to click down and make sure that if you are doing UNISA work, your UNISA email address. If you have got an Office 365 account with the place where you work, you can toggle between the two. You will still have the functionality, all right? But you need to, when you are working with UNISA, when you're doing UNISA work, you need to be working in your UNISA account. If you're doing company work, you need to be working in your company account. Right, are we good?
All good. Okay,
so we are working, as I explained, in a live event, and I explained that a meeting is far more personal. In a meeting, when I do training in a meeting with educators and somebody, I learn something new every day. Believe it or not, I really do. And somebody will tell me, you can do this, and I'll make them share the screen and teach the rest about something that I don't know about. Unfortunately, you can't do that in a live event. And there's also certain functionalities that I can't demonstrate to you on the live event because of certain policies and restrictions. So I'm going to show you 2 of the recording options in PowerPoint, only available offline, that you can do if you've created a PowerPoint presentation. So on my slideshow ribbon, I can record my slideshow. And when I can either record from the current slide or I can record from the beginning. And the reason why you would want to do that is because it gives you a video and an audio in the bottom right-hand corner. If you have got a slide, because remember the rule of thumb with PowerPoint is that you shouldn't put too much text on a slide, but you might be trying to explain a very important concept. So I'm going to just quickly whip over to give you an example. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, that's me. I'm just going to show you how it works. So you can record your PowerPoint presentation with including the audio and the video, and the student will see your face explaining and listen to the audio, and they will see the information on the slide. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you have got the option of not including the video and just have the audio, and when you move to the next slide and you start talking about the next slide, it will pop in a video and an audio on that particular slide. So this is a very powerful functionality if you want to explain something that's complex and that's complicated. It also gives a personal touch. You know, when you're explaining something and they see your face and they hear your voice and whatever. So, and also when you do click on record slideshow, you have got options of annotating on the slide, and it gives you a presenter view. So it's a very user-friendly function in PowerPoint. The other way you can do recording with PowerPoint is if you go to the insert ribbon and you go to media, you can do a screen recording. So a screen recording isn't just of PowerPoint, it's whatever you are doing on your computer, it will create a video for you. So when you click on screen recording and you click on select area, you can select what area you want to record. Click the record button, it'll count you down to 3, and it will record everything that you are doing on your computer. I'm just going to show you that. If you use the screen recording in PowerPoint, you can, anything you do on your computer will be recorded, the audio and the video. Everything that happens on your computer will be recorded. And then when you finish your recording, it will insert an MP4 into your PowerPoint at the slide where you started your recording. Just a tip: if you want to record something, you must just make sure that while you are recording, you don't pop into your WhatsApp or onto your email or whatever, go and check your bank balance or whatever, because it'll record everything that you do. Have I got any questions, Alona?
No questions.
Okay, so if you are a lucky person and you have got access to the Camtasia software, which is a video creation software, that is a very, very powerful piece of software. But this is absolutely adequate for doing presentations, for teaching, or for explaining concepts. Okay, so if you have a touch screen or you work on your phone, and you can use your finger or your stylus, there are all sorts of things you can do on the draw ribbon on your in PowerPoint. So I've gone and written, because I have a touch screen, I've written step 1, step 2, and this is fantastic for explaining steps in a process. And I can go and I can lasso my and I go back to the animations pane and I go. So this is absolutely fantastic. I can go to the animation pane and I can change the timing and make it much slower, so people can see the process. So it's very much like putting typed text, but it's really great if you are explaining something and you've got a touch screen and you can show the process. The other great functionality inside PowerPoint is your Ink to Math tool, and you can write whatever you want. Oof. Okay, I can insert it. I can make the equation much bigger, and the minute that equation lands on my slide, I've got access to all these amazing maths tools. So this is also part of your updates. If you haven't got the equation update, your equation ribbon, you need to do it. You can either go and update your software or go to the options and customize your ribbon. Is there any more questions?
No question.
Right. So just when you thought it couldn't get better, it does get better. So I remember when I was a teacher, I used to spend hours and hours and hours formatting, putting in bullets and animations and whatever. And sometimes my PowerPoint just didn't look good. So if you see here, I've just inserted a text box and I've written text. And if I go on my home ribbon, I move over to the Smart Art Graphics. There are all sorts of options that you have got to format your text. So I'm going to go to, because that's a list that I've got, and I've chosen one that I particularly like. There we go. And it formats it for me. I can change the text, I can make the text bigger, I can change the color, but it really does, in 1 second, it does the most amazing formatting of your text, and you've got such a huge, so many options that you can use. Are we good, Alana?
We're still good.
Okay, so did we come to a conclusion yesterday that UNISA are allowed to download the 3D models?
No, I haven't gotten any response regarding that as of
Okay.
yet.
So I'm just going to show the 3D models, because it's really very powerful. I've just put some stuff on for you, so that you can see. Microsoft has a whole library of 3D models. I think this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. And I can go and look at all sides of a volcano, of a brain, etc. So the 3D models are very powerful, and you can go and choose from the library, from the library that they have. And you can actually go and select. I selected those models for you, and it will insert it onto your slide, and you can use it to demonstrate. You can also, and I know when we were kids, we all worked with Paint. So if you have a Windows device, a Windows 10 device, you can go into Paint 3D, and you can create 3D models and bring them into PowerPoint and animate them. Okay, I'm going to show my favorite tool. So I used to spend hours and hours and hours formatting my PowerPoint slides. In fact, more than I spent on the content, which is not clever. So I went onto a slide, and all the slide had was a title box and a text box. And I typed top 10 jobs of the future, and I typed these just plain text underneath one another. And then I went to the design ribbon, and I went to design ideas, and it gave me this slide, which I absolutely love. I love the color, and it gives you a whole lot of other options. So this design ideas is great. It's really great to make your slides look professional and attractive and pleasing to the eye. But what you do need to remember is if you start putting lots of text boxes on your slide, the design ideas, the AI doesn't like that. So keep your boxes to a minimum and add later once you've got your design sorted. The one I did want to show you, which I really, really love. I work with teachers. Coding is now a compulsory subject at school, which I'm really thrilled about. But a lot of teachers didn't understand that coding is not only for people who are good at maths and science. Coding is for everybody, and it's beneficial for everybody. And I wrote these 10 sentences underneath one another on a slide. I went to the slide design, and it gave me these little icons. And then I had more options. So this is a really great tool to use to save you time. Any questions, Alona?
No questions.
Okay, so I am going to be showing you some more inclusivity tools, but one of the inclusivity tools that I really enjoy is the subtitles. And what the subtitles does is that when you start at a current slide or at the beginning slide, it actually puts the text on the slide as well. So I'm just going to go from a current slide. And you need to speak very clearly. If you haven't got a headphone and a mic, then you need to stay close to your computer, or if you have got a Bluetooth mic and headphones, you can actually walk around and the text will come up on the screen. Did you see that, Olona?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so that is really important for people with hearing loss or hearing impairment. I even like to watch my Netflix films with the captions. So at least a deaf person can actually hear. I went to a meeting a few months ago before COVID. There was a very deaf lady there with 2 interpreters all the way from KwaZulu-Natal. And these 2 interpreters were explaining what was on the PowerPoint slide. And we went and showed this guy, you know, you can put text, you can have it at the top, at the bottom, however you want to have it. So that is great for people with hearing impairment. Any questions?
No questions.
Okay. So now I think of PowerPoint as a lucky packet inside a lucky packet, and when I open the second lucky packet, I find another lucky packet inside. I'm always finding really interesting things that you can do with PowerPoint. It is just the most amazing app. So now you're going to save your slideshow. So you've got lots of ways of saving your slideshow. You can save it. You can either go to File and Save As. I'm going to show you that as well. I picked this ribbon up yesterday. This was obviously an update that arrived recently. You can save your PowerPoint as a show. It means when the person opens the PowerPoint, it goes straight into slideshow mode. You can export it to a video, which is an MP4. Just make sure that if you've got transitions and animations and video clips inside your PowerPoint, that the transitions match up, because it's going to play as a video. So you don't want it to play too fast or too slow. I can also publish my PowerPoint to Stream. So Stream, and I've put something in the web book about that. Stream is your Office 365 video service, where you can upload videos, you can share the link to videos, you can download the transcript of meetings that you've recorded, etc. So Stream is your Office 365 video service. So you've got all of these options as well. But if I prefer to go the traditional way, to file and save. So with Microsoft, there's lots of ways to do things, lots and lots of ways. So we can save it as a normal PowerPoint presentation. I can also save my PowerPoint as a PDF. So you will see in your web book, especially in the Teams web book, I have PDF some PowerPoint presentations, because PDF normally compresses it and the quality stays the same. But what I have put on your web book as well, I've put there 2 solutions on how you can compress very big files. So you can either go and download an app that zips your documents. There's another free thing that you can use for 14 days. And it actually compressed one of my PowerPoints that was 132 megs, and it compressed it to 32, and it was still perfect. So when we were talking in course 1 about uploading documents into OneNote and Teams and whatever, because there are connectivity issues. If you are going to create very big PowerPoint presentations and people have to download them, then it chews data. So you need to be very aware of the size of your PowerPoints, and rather do 2 PowerPoints than one humongous big PowerPoint. Are we good, Alana?
Yes.
What's wrong?
We're fine. There's a question here. Good morning. Where do I find the attendance register? Okay. So this is a different platform, right? This is a live event, and the explanation that I was giving was actually for a Teams meeting. So on a live event, the only people that can get the attendance register are the producers, right? So as an attendee, you will not be able to get the attendance register. It's only the producers who are able to get the attendance register. I think there was a miscommunication there, because the explanation that I was giving was to regards to a normal Teams meeting and not a live event.
And in a normal Teams meeting, the person who organized the meeting can download the attendance register. So guys, this is all about protection of personal information. I'm doing this training on behalf of Microsoft, and as part of my proof of execution, I asked you to fill in a feedback form, and then Alona also shares the attendance register with me, but only with a first name and the fact that you're an attendee. No other personal details is on that spreadsheet. The same with the feedback form. The feedback form is completely anonymous.
All right, thanks for me.
Okay, so I am now going to move over onto my Office 365. I'm sorry, one thing I forgot. On my screen here, you can see there is a forms icon. So your lecturers, remember we've done training with all of your lecturers on Teams and PowerPoint, we've done all of this with your lecturers. If they have created a PowerPoint presentation for you and they want to test your understanding at slide 4, they can insert a form there and insert a quiz. You can answer the questions, and your answers will go to your lecturer's computer. So that's very handy. I'm going to show you how forms works, and it's a great tool if you want to check for understanding. Okay. So I'm going to go. Can you see? No, I've dropped the share, have I?
I can still see it.
It's the red thingy went away again. Right, can you see my Office 365 dashboard?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so when I went in course 1, I showed you with these apps that you get as part of your Office 365. There are many more. If you go and look again at Office 365, but I strongly recommend that you stay in with these, because these are the ones that are relevant to you right now. So you have an app on your dashboard called Microsoft Sway. Okay, sorry, we are in Sway already. I'm already in my Sway dashboard. So the response I've had about Microsoft Sway has been amazing, because it is an online presentation tool, and we do have PowerPoint. But this presentation tool is just a little bit different. It makes creating a PowerPoint presentation easy, quick and easy. But please note also that Sway is only available online. Once I'm finished my Sway, I can download it as a Word or PDF document. But if you could share a link to a Sway, and you say anybody with the link can view it, anybody with the link will be able to view it, whether if they haven't got an Office 365 account, they can view it on any device as well. So what Microsoft has done is they've created templates. And these are the main users for Microsoft Sway. Internal for newsletters. So I was on the Ratepayers Association for the place where I live in Cape Town, and I used to do the newsletter. And they actually give you templates, and they give you guidance as to, you're going to create a newsletter. This is what we suggest you put on the actual newsletter. So it gives you guidance, and it gives you tips on each slide as to what you would put in your newsletter. And the internet is sluggish today, so I'm going to navigate back to my other Sway, and we'll go back to that. So on each slide, it gives you an idea of what you could put if you're creating a newsletter, or if you're doing a how-to, or a business presentation, updates, vision documents, portfolios. I know a lot of people create their CVs in Sway, because it's a link that can open up anywhere, and it's very presentable and pleasing to the eye. I write my blogs in a Sway. You can make an announcement. So there is just so much that you can use Microsoft Sway for. So I just want to show you an example of a Sway. So I work with inquiry-based learning, and that I create inquiry-based learning projects for teachers. I work with teachers, show them what it's about, but we create the projects inside Sway. So your lecturers could also, you might get a task or tutorial, and the actual task or tutorial is inside a Sway. You could actually use Sway to edit your response. So this was a project that I created about poverty and inequality in South Africa. And this is a nice feature of Sway. You have a driving question. Okay, let's go back. We have a driving question. When is enough enough? And if we address poverty, will inequality take care of itself? And then I told them what the skills were, what the curriculum links were, and the 8 themes of what they needed to explore in terms of poverty and inequality in South Africa. And then they got their activities. They had 6 tasks to do. And then I uploaded a rubric, because you can upload a document, PDF, Word, etc. And their project was supplied to them in Sway, and they absolutely love it. Have we got any questions?
No questions.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly start a new Sway, so you can see how easy it is. And then I'm going to show you the other reason why I really like using Sway. So I can create a new Sway, or I might have a Word or PDF document on my computer. I can start from a document. So I'm going to title this UNISA course 30 September. Okay, and I can emphasize or accent my heading, and then I can go to background. So I have options when it comes to inserting pictures. All of these, Flickr, Bing images, and Picket images are royalty-free images that you can use. You can upload pictures from your OneDrive or from your device. YouTube, I'm going to show you just now. So I am going to type here Table Mountain, which should have snow on it by tonight. So you remember there's also videos in Creative Commons. So all I do is I add a picture. So it's as easy as that. And then I go here onto focus points, and I can decide the entire image is important, and it tells you what it looks like on a mobile device. So there are all sorts of things that you can put on your add to your sway. You can add text as a heading or just normal text. You can add an image from the internet, from your computer. You can add a video from your computer. You can add an audio, and you can upload documents and pictures. But the one that I'm particularly interested in is the embed option. So I want to embed a YouTube clip into my sway. So I go onto YouTube. I'm a big Just for Gags person, especially during lockdown. It was great to watch Just for Gags before you went to sleep, and you have a good laugh. Normally, we would copy the URL of the YouTube and paste it, okay? But then what happens, a gazillion ads comes up, and then you have to subscribe, and you've got all this busyness and whatever. So instead of copying and pasting that, I right-click, I hover over the video clip, and I copy the embed code. And I go back to my sway, and I paste my embed code on the slide, and then I decide I actually want it to be full screen. And then I go and I have a look to see what it would look like when I play. So I'm going to move over here, and then you will see here when the viewer clicks on play, there will be no ads or anything. It is just the straightforward clip. Have we got any questions, Alona?
No questions. Okay.
So that embedding a video clip without any ads is really smart. So it makes your presentation look really professional. Right. So I want to add a stack. You can see here it says a stack to your presentation. To my presentation. So if you have a look here, you saw the driving questions in the project that I showed you. This is like the animations in PowerPoint, but I think it's more funky. So I want to add, I can either do images or text or whatever, and I can just add images. And then I want to add another one, and I want to add another image, and then I want to add another one. I want to add another image, and I click on add. So this is how easy it is to use, and then I can go and play my sway, and this is how the stack looks when it lands in your page. So that is really, I think that is just so it's so professional. But the other things I can do. I can insert videos, I can insert text, I can add a Word document or a PDF document, and it's all there embedded in the plus. Now I want to go and look at my design. And I go over to the try dot, and I go over to the settings. If I want to duplicate the sway, another person might want to use it. You can send them the link and they can share it out themselves. I can also, if I do the newsletter, I can save a sway as a template. Then it's always available. That particular format is available. I can also print my sway. So what Sway will do, it will put it in PDF, and then you can print it. I can also export it as a Word or PDF. And what's really nice when you do export it, it really sorts out the formatting yourself. And then I can go to the settings for my Sway, and you have all the normal settings, your language, what the viewers can do you want autoplay and whatever. So I went to the try dot instead of to styles. I apologize. So before I do that, I actually go here to styles, and then I can decide if I wanted vertical, if I wanted slides, and then you can go and choose from many different formats. So the format is actually done for you, and you can go and have a look and see what it looks like on your slideshow. You've got many. I can add texture to my slideshow. It really is fantastic. So these formats are set. They are set. They are not. You don't create them. They are just set just to make it quick and easy for you. Now I want to share my Sway. So I can go to my share, and then you've got these options. Specific people or groups. So if you're creating a project and you've got, I know that Tracy's busy organizing the groups for the lecturers and the students, and you can send stuff to a group. If it's those in your organization, remember those in your organization are people with the UNISA Office 365 email address, and they can view or edit, or anyone with the link can view. So this is really powerful, because you can share that Sway as, you know, if it's not something confidential, if it's something that you're proud of, whatever you want to share, you can share that link. I can copy the link and pop it into a WhatsApp or email, and it means that anyone with that link can click on the link and they can open it up on their iPhone, on their Android tablet, on their iPad, whatever, they can view it. But this is what really makes it really professional. If you ask for a visual link, it will put up a visual link, and you will click on copy, and you will paste that link into an email. And when the person opens the email, it appears in the email with that picture and a link that says go to this Sway. It's very professional and easy to use. I know lots of people create Sways and they put them on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and you can get an embed code. If you want to put it in a website, you can also put a link to a Sway inside Teams, inside Class Notebook, inside PowerPoint, whatever you want, and then you can decide what your share options are. Have we got any questions, Aluna?
No questions.
Okay, so I'm going back to my Sway dashboard, and I see here on the Sway dashboard, it gives you tutorials on how to use Sway, and I've put something in the webbook. That webbook is going onto Facebook, so it's easily accessible. And now what I want to do, these are the Sways that I've created. What I want to do is I want to go to the analytics. So this is another reason why I like Sway, because especially if you are uploading a course or a tutorial or a project or work, you can actually go and see how many people have either glanced, quick read, or deep read your Sway. So it tells you how many views, how much time, how many actually finished looking at the presentation. So these analytics are really very helpful. You know, if you are doing a newsletter or you're wanting to see the penetration of a particular article, etc., you can actually do it that way. Have we got any questions, Alona?
No questions.
Okay, so we've been to PowerPoint and we've seen the interactivity in PowerPoint. We've seen the interactivity in Sway. So you've got all of these really great tools available to you, and we've had very good feedback about people using Sway. That's why I include it in the course. So what I'm going to show you now, can you see my OneNote, Aluna?
I'm seeing Sway.
Okay, so this is also if you are working in a meeting, in a Teams meeting, and somebody wants you to share their screen, you must always ask, can you see my screen? And there should be a red frame around the screen if it's been successfully shared. So when you move from one app to another or from one platform to another, it actually sometimes drops the thing, and then you can actually go. And I'm going to include my system audio because I'm going to play sound for you. Can you see my OneNote?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so the tools that you see here, I'm in OneNote for Windows 10. So if you go and search for OneNote, you on your computer, you always need to make sure you do the Windows 10 app. On other devices, you don't need to do that because there was another offline OneNote. Make sure it's a nice bright sunny purple, your frame. So these tools that I'm showing you are available online and offline in all of the apps. If a particular tool that I'm showing you now is not available in an app, it's not available for a specific reason, but the majority of them are available online and offline. So I have got a Microsoft Translator tool, and I'm going to move over to my translator tool. I go over to the View ribbon, and I highlight my text, and I click on Translate. So I've actually translated it back from Afrikaans so many times. I'm going to translate from English to Afrikaans. So at the moment, in terms of South African languages, only Afrikaans text is available. They are working on the more widely spoken languages like isiZulu, isiXhosa, Setswana, that type of thing, but I'm not sure what the progress is of that. So that translator is great. You might have to go back and fix up one or two grammar, spelling, whatever, but for the most, I think it's quite an accurate translator. You can also get the translator app on your cell phone. You can download it. It's a free app, and if you are going somewhere, I went to the Netherlands in December to meet my grandchildren, and I downloaded the German vocab and I downloaded the Dutch. You need to do that before you actually, you can't just go and click on Dutch or whatever. You have to download the vocab, and everybody in Germany and in the Netherlands knew what I was talking about. So the Translate app is really really great. Right. So the Dictate tool is really an amazing tool. So I was a teacher for many years, and my heart used to break when a child stood in front of me and they understood a very complex concept and they could verbalize it to me fantastically, to show their understanding. But pen and paper or type on a computer, and there was just a disconnect. There was a processing problem and people couldn't disconnect the children, people who tell the most amazing stories, but they can't actually write it down. So this is also great for exams. People can talk, use the Dictate tool. So on the Home ribbon, I am going to go on to set my dictation language as UK English, and I click on my microphone. And then I can start talking to my computer. Period, new line. So this is a really great tool. You will need to develop a relationship with the artificial intelligence that is listening to you speak, but it is absolutely fantastic for people who would rather talk about what they want to say instead of type what they want to say. So that dictate tool is available on all the apps. It's a very, very powerful, a powerful tool. So if you are working in OneNote, OneNote is a great app for staying organized, and you can quickly pop in, turn the dictate tool on, and it will type your text for you. Have we got any questions?
No questions.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the Immersive Reader, and I'm also going to show it to you on Microsoft Edge, which is the Microsoft browser. So the Immersive Reader will read text from anywhere to you. So if you're on the internet on Edge, it will read the text in a website. If you are on a PDF, it will read the text. If you're on Teams, you will start seeing this little book and speaker everywhere now that you know that it's available. And it's also used in lots of other third-party apps. In Outlook, you can use the Immersive Reader. So the Immersive Reader is great for people who have got visual impairment. And it's also great for people who don't like reading huge pieces of text and busy pieces of text. It will actually read the text to you. So I've clicked at the beginning of my paragraph, and I'm going to enable the Immersive Reader. Can you see my pink screen, Olona?
Yes, I can.
So I go down to the bottom and I say I want to change the voice, and then I can change the voice speed from tortoise to hare, and I click play.
And then I can start talking to my computer. So this is a really great tool. You will need to develop a relationship with the artificial intelligence that is listening to you.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so this is great. So you can actually stop, pause whenever you want to. You can change the speed. It's absolutely fantastic to read things out, and it's available in all the apps. But I've also got other options here. I can change my text size. So this is also great for people who are visually impaired. I can increase the spacing. I can change the font, and then I can actually change the color of my background. This magic tool is grammar options, because this tool is used extensively in primary school, in parts of speech. And then you also have reading preferences. So this line focus functionality is really great, because some people battle to read one line on a page. So if I enable the line focus, I can have 1, 2, or 3 or more lines available at a time, and my page doesn't seem so busy. You will not use the picture dictionary at university level. And then I can translate my document to Afrikaans at the moment. It doesn't have the audio. It only has the text, but I can translate my document to Afrikaans. Have we got any questions, Olona?
No questions.
Can you see my OneNote?
Yes, I can.
Right. So now I am going over to Ink for Maths. And in my draw tool, if I've got a touch screen, I've got a stylus, or I've got a phone or whatever, I've used, and there's some really funky pens, rainbow pens and galaxy pens, and they're just really funky stuff. I wrote this text, and then I went over to the math tool. And I can ink it. If I click on Ink to Maths, it will put that properly typed equation on my page. And then I can select an action, solve for X, solve for Y, graph in 2D. So this is great for people who work with maths. All right, and then I can also Ink to Maths. You will see it brings on the Ink to Math. Have we got any questions, Olona?
It's not a question, just a comment. After the first course made me aware of the Immersive Reader function. I recently used it to read an assignment to me in Word to help highlight grammar issues by by actually hearing what the sentences sound like, and even some words where I used singular instead of plural. So it definitely helps to find mistakes faster as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And those of you who have got children at school, remember those tools are freely available, hey? For kids at school who battle to read and whatever. Okay, so just when you thought we couldn't find anything more exciting, we went on to audio. So you can insert your lecturer, if your lecturer is sharing a class notebook or whatever, you can insert an audio in the apps where you can record an instruction. You can actually give an audio instruction instead of just a written instruction. So you've got double whammy, because you can either use the Immersive Reader or you can insert an audio. So inserting an audio, you might want to, when you do a presentation or you do a project and you feel that an audio would help you explain it better than the way you've typed it, then you would insert an audio. Or your lecturer will insert an audio to explain, please remember to read to the end of the document or whatever. So inserting an audio is absolutely fantastic, and it saves it as, you can save it as an MP3 and upload it onto Teams, onto Class Notebook, or whatever. So I can listen. So inserting an audio, you might want to, when you do a presentation or you do a project and you feel that an audio would help you explain it better than the way you've typed it, then you would insert an audio. Or your lecturer will insert an audio to explain, please remember to read to the end of the document or whatever. So so what you can do is you can also go back 15 seconds or forward 15 seconds or forward 5 minutes to listen to the audio. Do we have any questions there, Lorna?
No questions. Okay,
so there is also a researcher tool inside OneNote, and I think it is also available in Teams. And I go to my insert ribbon and I see the researcher functionality there, and I'm going to type the Syrian Civil War or whatever you are researching. And what it does is it gives you more topics. It gives you all of the information about the Syrian war, books. It gives you books about the Syrian war, journals, and websites. So this is especially if you are doing your master's or your PhD and you need to do research, this is really a very powerful function. Any questions, Aruna?
No questions.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to have to drop the share because I'm going onto the internet. I'm going to go onto a web page to show you how these tools work on web pages as well. Right, now I'm trying to find my COVID. Can you see my conspiracies, my COVID conspiracies?
Yes, I can.
So in my family at the moment, there's huge debate about whether COVID is a conspiracy, and in this Alliance for Science, they debunk some of the conspiracies. It really makes for a very interesting conversation. So this is in Microsoft Edge. All right, so Edge is the new Microsoft browser. I really wouldn't suggest you use Internet Explorer. And you need to download that Edge. It is free. Okay, it's what is really great about Edge is that it's also safe for children to use for education. So this particular function won't work in Chrome. So you will need to be in Edge, and I went and I searched for top 10 conspiracies, and then I see in the address bar there's a book and a speaker. And if that book and speaker comes up when you go onto the internet, then you can use the Immersive Reader on that particular page. So some websites will not come up with that book and that speaker, and I think it's websites that were created in Wix for some reason. But yeah, for the most, you'll be able to do this. So you will see when I click on the book and the speaker, it will take away all this busy stuff, because this kind of stuff is really, really distracting if you want to focus on the content of the page. So when I click on the book, it turns my page into a book. So it's taken away all the clutter, register for the newsletter, whatever, and then I can start reading it aloud.
COVID, top 10 current conspiracy theories.
Did you hear that, Alona?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so then obviously you've got your voice options, and it's interesting in Edge, you've got more options than in the other apps. So you can, and it also tells you how you can learn how to add more voices. The only downside of this Immersive Reader on the internet is that it starts at the beginning and it reads it through. So you can't go and click on a new paragraph and get it to read for you. But a tip to do that, you could copy that text, put it in OneNote or Word, and then use the Immersive Reader there. So you've got all, again, your text preferences, your color, your spacing, you've got the grammar tools, and you've got all your reading options available in online as well. On Edge, PDF, you can use the Immersive Reader as well. Have we got any questions?
No questions.
Okay, so I just want to close some of these windows. So if I go back onto my, can you see my Office 365 dashboard?
Yes, I can.
If I go back onto my dashboard, I can go and access an app called Forms. So if ever you've worked with Google Forms, Microsoft Forms is much the same. There's some slight differences in functionality, but they work the same. All right. And remember that when you are creating a form, you need to be online, the same as with Sway. You need to be online. So what you can do is, I want to just go back, and I click my Forms app, and then I've got the option of creating a form or a quiz. So I'm looking at you guys. You guys are students, and some of you are doing your research for your masters and whatever. You can create forms to gather and collate and analyze information. It's very handy. You can create surveys and polls. You can create attendance registers for events. There's all sorts of ways that you could use forms, and also in your personal life, because you've got access to this particular form. We had a big birthday in our family, and we sent out a form asking who would attend, if children were attending, have they got any food allergies and whatever. So you can use it in a personal capacity as well. So Forms is possibly one of the strongest apps. I love it, and the best part about Forms is that it's easy to use. You can also create a quiz. So I'm not going to go into detail today in the quiz, because that's normally a lecturer's point of view or a teacher. So if you do want to find out more about the quiz, then I have put a section in the web book about forms and quizzes. But we are going to create a new form. So I'm going to do this, UNISA students. You need to be on this top box. You need to be fairly descriptive about what the form is about. So when you look at the form, you know exactly what it was about, the date, and you can enter a description. Then I can add a picture. So I can either do an image search like I did in Sway, or I can upload a picture from my computer, and I happen to have the UNISA logo on my computer. It takes a while to load, don't worry about it. And if you do get you insert a picture that's got a sad face, then that's obviously not the correct format, and you'll have to look for another picture. And then I want to make my my form look professional, give it a nice bright background. And then I can actually go and have a look. I can go from time to time, go and have a look at my form. I don't know if I like this black background. I can also go and have a look at what it looks like on a cell phone. So I'm going back to my questions, and I can see there are a number of question types I can add. So if I want information from people, personal information like a contact number, a cell number, a name, and whatever, we need to be very aware of the POPI Act, okay? If you need that information, there must be a very good reason why you need that information. You can't just gather personal information. So you'll see the feedback form that I sent to you, you're going to fill in for me, is completely anonymous. We need to be very aware of the POPI Act. If you slide the required over, it means that they have to answer that question before they submit the form. If I've got questions that are similar, I can copy, I can trash, and I can move my questions up and down. So those are text questions. If you want a long answer, then you can add a long answer. I put in a text question at the end of your feedback form and ask you please to comment. Then I can have multiple choice questions. And I can ask a question, and then I can say blue or red. You can add other options. If you do a multiple choice question and there is more than one answer, then you can slide over the multiple choice, okay, and then you can actually add a subtitle which says check all that apply. So it's really a great feature. The other thing you can do with the multiple choice, you can also do a drop down. I want to show that to you as well. You will see in the feedback form, I have asked you to click on the province that you live in a drop down. Have we got any questions so far, Luna?
No questions so far.
So the multiple choice is great. The text question, the rating, you can have up to 10 stars or numbers, okay? And you can rate how people, you'll see in the feedback that I've sent, I want you to fill in. You've had to rate to say whether I know what I'm talking about or not. And then you can also just add a label which says 1 is lousy and 5 is great. You've also got the date option. So imagine that you are organizing an event, or you need dates from people as to when they can attend or whatever, then you would use the date option. Then you have got a ranking, which is really great. So the way Microsoft does it, so if I put in top app, all right, and then I put in here forms, OneNote, etc. When you take it to the preview, so let's say I decide that Sway is my first choice, and then you can move stuff up and down and indicate your preference. So that is really that is a great feature. Then I'm not going to show you a Likert here, because I've done a Likert in your feedback form, and I'll show you when I show you the responses. You can also do a file upload. So let's imagine that a student is registered at UNISA and they have to upload their ID document, birth certificate, photograph, and whatever. If you click on OK here, you can decide on the number of files that you want that they can upload. You can also decide on the size of a file. Okay, and then you can also decide on the file type. So they might have a PDF of their birth certificate or an image of their ID, etc. And then what happens is when they go onto the form, they can upload the file. They will go and fetch the file from their computer, okay? And when they send the form to you, and a folder will be created on your OneDrive with all of those documents. Have we got any questions?
No questions.
Okay, and then I can also, Net Promoter Score is like a rating, all right? And then you can also add sections. So if you're sending out a form and you want the students' personal details and address and whatever in the first section, you want their course details in the next section, you can do that. Right, so I'm going to toggle over to the settings, and I want to go and have a look at the settings. So when you create a form, you can create, anyone with the link can respond, or only people in your organization, and then you can say record name, and then it will automatically record their name if it's in your organization. If you do anyone with the link can respond, it can't record their names. You must put a text question in with their names, and you can do one response per person. Then of course you will accept responses, and then you can have a start date and time and an end date and time. So if you want a form or a survey or poll to be done on that date at 11:15, that form will no longer accept responses. You can shuffle your questions. You can customize your thank you message. Thank you for being willing to learn. You can even send an email response to the recipients to say we have received your form. I certainly wouldn't in a UNISA thing get email notification for each response, because then your inbox will be smoking. So those are your form settings. And then I want to go over to share. So if this is not grayed out, this is grayed out on my tenant because it's a policy that the IT admin has put in place, but it shouldn't be on yours. Anyone with the link can respond, or only people. If you go with anyone with the link can respond. Anyone can respond on an iPhone, on a Samsung, on an Android tablet, on a Chromebook, whatever. They don't have to have an Office 365 account. They can just click on the link, and that is great for surveys and polls. So if you find in your UNISA organization that this is grayed out, then you need to log a ticket with IT to see whether they can allow you to do that, especially if you're doing surveys and polls. I know that my best friend is doing her master's at WITS, has just sent me a form that I have to, a survey that I have to complete. So you can copy the link, or you can copy a QR code, print it out. So when you're in real life, I print out the QR codes and I put them around the room, and they can scan it with their tablet or phone, and it's just a nice way of presenting. And then you can create an embed link. So if you wanted to do a survey on the UNISA website, embed it on your website, or you can send it in an email. So that's how you send and collect responses. So let's imagine that you are doing research for your master's or your PhD, and your fellow student is also doing the same thing, but he has to collect responses from his people that he emails to ask respect, and you have to collect responses for yours. So you will create the form, and then you will get a link to duplicate. And then you send the link to your fellow student. And when your fellow student receives that link, they will duplicate the link. They can edit it the way they want to, and they will share a different link out to the people he wants to fill in the form, and the responses will go to his or her computer. We got any questions?
No questions.
I've just lost my phone. you can go with your share. You've shared as a template, a link to duplicate, and then you can also share to collaborate. So let's imagine that you need to create quite an extensive survey or poll, and you want somebody else to have some input in creating that form. Then you would share that particular link, and then you can both work on the form at the same time. Have we got any questions?
No questions.
Okay, so now I'm going to just take you onto a form where I have got responses, and for some reason UNISA students don't like filling in feedback forms. I don't know why, and we really need you to fill in the feedback form. So I'm going to show you the responses from yesterday's course, and when I open up the form, I can see here there are 34 responses. So it tells me it was 3 minutes 19 to average time to complete. It says that it is still active because I didn't set a closing date. I can even have a print summary or get a summary link, and the link will give me a summary, and then it even gives me ideas. So it says there a large percentage of people answered that the pace of the course was just right in question 7, and most of them had a high rating of 4 to 5 in question 6, which asked if the presenter knew what they were talking about. So they give you a little bit of insight with the results. I can open that book in Excel, so I have that information available inside Excel. You must please, once you have submitted a form and people have started filling in, you can't go and change questions. You can change a spelling error or something, but you can't go and change questions because it will mess with the formatting in Excel. So your first question was, what province are you from? So I hover over Gauteng and it goes to the graph, and so on. So UNISA can see what province you're from. If you do not live in South Africa, you would have select other. So it means that only one person will answer question 2. And it says if you selected other in question 1, please indicate which country. You don't need to say South Africa because we already got your province. If you live in Lesotho or Mozambique or whatever, you need to answer that question. Then it says here, after today's session, how likely are you to use the tools? And then it tells you color, orange, 82% will, and 14.7 was somewhat likely and somewhat unlikely. Maybe those people didn't think it was a tool. So it gives you a really good idea of how people answered and what, and it just graphs the analytics. And then also it gives a pie graph, and then what it does is it gives, you can go and have a look at the comments. So I go through this and I see if there's something that I need to flag, I need to slow down, etc. I need to add information to the webbook. I see it that way, and I share these results with Alona and Tracy. Have we got any questions?
No questions.
Okay, so there is stuff in the webbook about forms. I'm going to just quickly show you again so the webbook starts making sense. I'm going to show you the webbook, and then I'm going to ask you please to fill in the feedback form. And we will still have some time. There will be plenty of time for questions, more questions. Or if you would like me to show you the quiz in forms or something else you'd like to see, then you must just ask. So I'm navigating onto the webbook. And now this stuff will start making sense. So we first started with PowerPoint, and it's giving you these 3 new PowerPoint 65 tips. And then this is 30 tips and tricks in PowerPoint. I watched this the first time yesterday, and I was saying to Alona yesterday, there's a whole lot of things that I've added because it's all so exciting. It's like Lucky Packet inside Lucky Packet. So there's also how to compress large files. All right, you can get an app on the Microsoft Store, and it's free and you can download it. And what it does is it zips files so that they don't take up a lot of space. And then we also did Microsoft Sway, and there's a little information there about you can use Microsoft Sway as a digital story tool. I know that a lot of people who've got Office 365, their children, especially in primary school, love creating stories on Sway, because they don't have a problem with getting their heads around technology. Then we did some stuff on the inclusivity tools. And I've put some stuff there for you, digital accessibility at universities. And then you will see here, I've put some PDFs. So these PDFs that I made, they are PowerPoint presentations that are PDF'd. So this gives you a serious amount. I haven't showed you all the accessibility tools because it is just a huge amount. So you will see this is an online PDF. It will read your stuff aloud, and inside your Adobe Acrobat Reader, it will also read your stuff aloud. But you can do extra things here. You can draw, you can highlight, you can go bananas. So I've put documents and I've put links to courses, and then the maths tools in OneNote, and then there was a question yesterday in the student session, when I was doing the dictate and I said period, new line, whatever, I went and I looked for the voice commands, and this is all the dictate special phrases in English, which is quite cool. So you're going to be talking a whole new language. And then somebody also asked in one of the sessions how to translate YouTube videos to English or other languages. Please just double check that you don't need to get permission, or if you do, you need to get you need to get permission. And then we did something on forms, collecting and collating data. And you can go and have a look, and it will show you how to create a quiz and how a quiz works if you want to see how it works. Because I know that I'm sure your lecturers will be sending quizzes to you. Then I was speaking about the Microsoft Stream. It's your Office 365 video service. It's just something extra you can go and have a look at. It's a really great platform. Have we got any questions, Lorna?
No questions.
Okay, I'm going to drop the share, and Lorna, can I get you to put the link to the feedback for the 30th of September in the chat? Please, guys, because I'm doing this training on behalf of Microsoft, I have to provide a proof of execution. So I do get the attendance registers with first name only, and that you're an attendee, nothing else, from Oluna. But as a proof of execution, I need to say, I've trained these people and this is the feedback. And so far, I've been very happy with the feedback. And if there's something you don't like, you need to put it in. But I'd like you in the bottom question, please, just to say, were there any new takeaways? Were there things that you learned today that you didn't know that you didn't know? That would be very useful for me as well, because my whole aim with these courses is to give you the big picture. So we could have done 2 courses of deep dive into Teams and Classbook and then nothing else. And the excitement that has come out doing the PowerPoint and the Sway and the inclusivity tools and the forms has been amazing. People have absolutely loved it. So please do go and fill in the feedback form, and then I will still be here if you have any further questions. Olona, will you put the link in or should I?
I just did.
Okay, cool. Because I'm looking at new. Right. Okay, Lorna. We've got 3 people so far. Have we got any more questions? Those people who filled in their feedback?
No questions.
No questions.
Lorna, I think if people have got no more questions and they don't want to do any more and they've filled in the feedback and they've got the link to the webbook, we can only say thank you and well done. And if you are feeling a bit overwhelmed, please attend. We've got another 2 sessions today of this particular course. Lorna, did you want to say anything?
Nothing from my side, thanks.
Okay, and Lorna, Tracy, Petunia, thank you for being rockstar producers. I could never do this without you. Well done. And then it's up to you to end the session if they don't want me to do any more. We finished a bit early, but I'm sure people always are grateful for an extra 20 minutes in the day.
Okay, thank you, Charmaine.
Thanks, Petunia.
Thanks, Charmaine.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you at 12.
Yep.
All right, cool.